with it. And what this is to further disparage the president of the United States. So they're hoping, and believe me, no pun intended, to trump the presidency with this, trying to use this as fodder to show what a degenerate that he is. And realizing, the Weinstein and those of his liking in Hollywood, he's just one amongst hundreds and hundreds of people that work in the movie industry that are degenerate. I have to say this because nobody's saying it. But I'm going to say it, okay? If you don't mind, because I'm afforded the microphone here. Speaking about antics and things that people do in the bedroom, nobody has indicated that Donald Trump raped anybody. Okay, you need to put it out there. Donald Trump didn't rape anybody, and he didn't do a Cosby. He wasn't mickeying them, putting something in their drink so they weren't conscious, and with it in the land of the living, with making love or whatever the heck Bill Cosby was doing to them when they were sleeping, taking advantage of them. Nobody has said any of those things other than they have such a fascination. And you know what? It comes down to greed. Stormy Daniels wants cash. Her husband divorced her. Her husband just divorced her this past week. And by the way, I'm sorry things didn't work out. But when you're on screen and you're sleeping with other people, how long do you think your marriage is going to last for? How long do you think that's going to, come on. You're a sex, slave and to the industry, and that's disgusting. That's horrible. But there's a dark side to Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. And the celebrities, there was an article about Joe Walsh and the Eagles and, what a druggie Joe Walsh was when he dated this girl. This girl's coming out with a book, a former girlfriend that dated Joe Walsh, talking about the antics of a rock and roll star. But nobody's taken Joe Walsh to task for being what he is. He's a major success. She just said it's probably just the lifestyle of a rock and roll star. And I'm just saying this is probably the lifestyle of a celebrity apprentice star. That, is he an egoist? Does he like attention? Of course he does. I haven't met any politician that doesn't like the limelight. So Ronald Reagan liked the limelight. Believe it or not, Ronald Reagan did. Jimmy Carter liked the limelight. These people seek them. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't run for president. They enjoy it. People get so bent out of shape. And what did my dad used to say? Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. There's just too many people in America that are so consumed with throwing stones. They don't even see the rock in their own eye, as the Bible puts it. A plank or beam, as the New Testament says. They remove it first and then talk about it. You have no sin. People are full and riddled of all this critique when their own house is in total disarray, and yet they're trying to give direction. I don't care, personally, what this president did outside of the White House before he was president. I don't care. What I do care about is that he's busy working for the American people each and every day, which I see that bearing fruit. A year and a half in, this president has done more than any president in history in such a short amount of time. Mike Lindell, he's the My Pillow guy. He said, that's my president. That's my guy. This guy is just all ecstatic. And if you don't know the Mike Lindell story of My Pillow, this guy was an addict himself, but went, from rags to riches. He's an entrepreneur. He's become an iconic figure, really. But it's because of his motivational rags to riches story. And it all began in 2004 in his hometown in Minnesota, in Chaska. And when he created the My Pillow empire, CNBC notes, it's so amazing, he was addicted to drugs. A lot of people, unfortunately, are addicted to drugs. But it says that he explored numerous business ventures in an attempt to make money, but none really took off until he had a dream about a pillow that could hold its shape. He says, I got up in the middle of the night, it was 2 a.m, and I had my pillow written everywhere in the kitchen and all over the house, he told CNBC. Convinced that the dream was a message from God, Lindell drove into the project. He dove into it, and soon the business was flourishing. And the rest is history, folks. The president shook my hand, told me, you are doing a great job. Michael, he also said he is sleeping great on his My Pillow, Lindell recently told the New York Times. My Pillow, terrific. Mike Lindell's company, free of charge, sent me 2 My Pillows. One for me, one for my wife. And I got to tell you, it ain't bad. There's different comfort levels. Just understand that. There's firm, there's softer, and there's an in-between. So make sure that you talk to a sleep specialist when contacting My Pillow. All right, as promised, Trump in Kansas City on the 24th at the VFW headquarters, just a little of that, and then some commentary of my own on For the People weekend on this great radio station.
And I understand, frankly, every president for the last many presidents has said, we're going to open our embassy in Jerusalem. And then they never did it. They all failed. They never did it. And I understand why, because when it came time and when people were hearing rumors about it, I was inundated from calls of every leader from all over the world, imploring me, even demanding that we not do it, to a point where I never took their calls unless I called them back after I did it. You know, it's one of those jobs. Let me call it back. I was getting calls from kings and presidents and dictators. I was getting a call from everyone. And when I knew what it was about, I'd say, tell them I'll call them next week. Then I called them and I said, oh, I didn't know you felt that way. Well, it's too late. Told them. But I understand why they didn't do it, because there was tremendous pressure. We did it. We're proud of it. It's there. Enjoy it. And by the way, the biggest fan may very well be the evangelicals. They wanted that built. They wanted that there. So we're very proud of it. We've removed unnecessary restraints on our warfighters in Afghanistan. Those who risk their life and limb for our country, they deserve rules of engagement that give them the best opportunity to finally defeat the enemy. And we're making, for the first time in years, we're making a lot of progress in Afghanistan. I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal. And Iran is not the same country anymore. That I can say. And we'll see what happens. But we're ready to make a real deal, not the deal that was done by the previous administration, which was a disaster. We're also pursuing the denuclearization of North Korea and a new future of prosperity, security, and peace on the Korean Peninsula and all of Asia. New images just today show that North Korea has begun the process of dismantling a key missile site, and we appreciate that. We had a fantastic meeting with Chairman Kim, and it seems to be going very well. I know we're joined today by many incredible veterans of the Korean War. Thank you for your courageous service. As you may know, we're also working to bring back the remains of your brothers in arms who gave their lives in Korea. And I hope that very soon these fallen warriors will begin coming home to lay at rest in American soil. That's starting the process.
And they're back on U.S. soil today. Can you believe it?
At the very end of our meeting, I said to Chairman Kim, good relationship, good feeling. I said, I would really appreciate if you could do that. He said, it will be done. So I was very happy, and I think that process is starting fairly soon, we hope. Because we believe in no American left behind. We believe in that, right? No American left behind. I want to thank the VFW for your devotion to our fallen heroes, unknown soldiers, prisoners of war, and those missing in action and their families. No one better understands the horrors of war than the people in this room. It is the warrior who bears the scars of battle and who prays most fervently for peace. That is why we remember George Washington's advice that the best way to preserve the peace is to be prepared for war. And that is exactly what we do all the time. My thinking is always on military and military strength. That is why I'm proud to report that we are now undertaking the greatest rebuilding of our United States military in its history. We have secured $700 billion for defense this year and $716 billion next year, approved. We're ordering 147 new F-35 Lightning fighters. This is an incredible plane. It's stealth. You can't see it. So when I talk to even people from the other side, they're trying to order our plane. They like the fact that you can't see it. I said, how would it do in battle with your plane? They say, well, we have one problem. We can't see your plane. That's a big problem. Stealth, super stealth, the best in the world. We make the best military equipment in the world. Also, remember this, jobs. We're ordering 239 Apache and Black Hawk helicopters. You know what they are. They're incredible. 19 major naval vessels and nearly 8,000 Humvees. And these will be Humvees that are used by our great soldiers, not handed out to everybody like you've been reading about in the past. All made right here in the USA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to pause. I mean, the speech was great. You can YouTube it. KC, Kansas City on the 24th, Donald Trump. And just what a great speech. But there's very few places that you're going to be able to get a clear picture of what's going on than listening to For the People. This is how we roll. This is how we do it. But you're not going to have this ability on any of the networks. And these people are getting paid millions of dollars to report the news, but they don't report it. I always like NBC when Lester Holt goes out and talks about how they're building houses or how one organization is helping a veteran, how, inner city kids are getting the help that they need. When they do stuff like that, I think they're at their best. But when they are consumed with opening up that the Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did this and Donald Trump did, you get it? All negatives. None of this. Zero. Zilch. And then what they'll do with this raving report with the economy, they're going to pick holes at it. They're going to have some kind of financial guru say that the numbers are inflated and that what has been said is just erroneous. And it kind of reminds me of Pelosi this past week. And this woman just needs to retire. She's an embarrassment to the party. I just cannot believe that the Democrats are putting up with her, but they continue to do so. The House Minority Leader, of all people, talking about or describing the September 11th, 2001 terror attacks as an incident during her weekly